Hello everyone, in this video I want to explain about my machine learning project, that is stock market prediction. So in my project I am predicting the stock prices of the market. So predicting the stock prices of the market is very helpful to the investors who will invest in stock markets. Actually, the main goal and main use of this project is we will determine the future value of the company's stock, so that it will advantage to investors or people who are buying or selling shares. So it is advantage. So the advantage of predicting the stock market helps people to invest and helps people to make good profits. So that is the main idea of my project. Okay, let me share another screen. So the main goal of our project is to predict the stock prices of the particular company. So that is the main goal of our project. And here in my project I used artificial recurrent neural network architecture. So it is a machine learning concept. So it comes under deep learning too. Using machine learning concepts we can easily predict the stock market price. And we will here calculate the stock market price, means estimated price of stock based on the historical data. That means we will take some past months of stock prices data, and we will predict the future. So this is the concept we use here. We use some standard deviation, mean concepts, and LSTM neural network concepts. And in those concepts we have some layers also, dense layers, LSTM layers. So we combined all those machine learning, some mathematics, and we combined all these, and I have developed this project. For example, first my project is about predicting stock price. So let me tell you what is stock market. So stock market is nothing but it is a place where everyone, so not everyone who are interested, where individuals or investors come together to buy and sell shares. So I am saying shares, right? Then let me tell you what is share. Okay, 1 minute. Yes. So before saying about shares, let me tell you what is stock. Stock is nothing but it is like a security. Like it represents the ownership of the company. For example, we are buying one stock. That means we have some ownership in that company. And share means it is some like percentage of that ownership. For example, if a company issues 1 crore shares and an investor buys 1000 shares, then the investor own the 0.01% of that particular company. So like it is like shares. That means like it is percentage of our ownership. And stock market prediction mainly designed to determine the future movement of the stock price, so that it will helpful people to gain profits. The main advantage of predicting the stock market is to help people to make good profits. And let me go to another slide. And libraries used in this project, actually every machine learning project we use some libraries, right? So here I used these libraries like NumPy, Matplotlib, Pandas data reader, DataTime, SKLM preprocessing, MinMax scaler, TensorFlow, Keras, sequential dense. Because by using all these libraries only I build this project, because in these libraries only because of these libraries only I have added features to the project. For example, I want to take past data. So how can I can take past data through Pandas data reader library. So by using these libraries only I have imported all the stuff. For example, first library I have imported NumPy is nothing but it is an array pre-processing library. So we can implement all those mathematical stuff through it. And second one we have is Matplotlib library. Actually it is nothing but it is open source plotting library. For example, if we want to plot graphs like x-axis, y-axis, so actually in the output also, after this presentation I will show the output so that you can easily understand. In output I have predicted the graph also, which shows actual estimation and predicted stock price also. So for getting that graph, I used this matplot library, and I have used this pandas libraries also. It will import all data from various file formats. So it is pandas library is used for data manipulation operations or some related to data stuff. It will useful. And then we have data pandas data reader library. Actually, I imported this library because it allows to create data frame from various internet data resources. For example, I want historical data. So historical data means I want past 60 days data. How can I take past 60 days data of stock market? So I can take using pandas data reader module. So it helps me to collect all the data I want. So then I imported this data time library also, so we can perform date and time operations here. Then I have this sklearn pre-processing library. So it is also very it is useful to scale the data. That means in machine learning we have some deep concepts. So it provides several common utility functions. That means if we want to change the features, it is like, if you know machine learning you can understand easily, but no problem, it transfer all the classes to change your row features. So like it will scale the data. So for scaling the data, simply for scaling the data you can use this pre-processing library, or it process the data. So that's it. And next we have min max scaler. So it is a form of like normalization, and it uses the mean and the standard deviation to box all the data into a range lying between a certain minimum and maximum value. So because of this min max scalar only, it uses some mean standard deviation techniques, and it will combine the highest level data and lowest level data into min and max values. And that means for most projects it will convert the range in between 0 and 1. So in my project I use this technique, min max scalar technique. Then we have TensorFlow, wonderful library. Actually it is an open source library. So it mainly useful for artificial intelligence also. We can, by using this, we can flow the data to build module. For example, in my project also I have built some modules. So to build all these modules we need this TensorFlow. Mainly this TensorFlow library mainly useful for prediction or classification or discovering anything. So in our project we are predicting something, right? So we use TensorFlow. Then we have here Keras library. So Keras helps to solve machine learning problems. N number of problems we can use by using this Keras. It provides a Python interface for artificial neural networks. In my project I use a LSTM neural network technique. So for applying this neural network techniques we need Keras. So I have imported that Keras too. Then we have sequential model so in Keras only we will have sequential model. So for that I have imported that sequential also. So sequential API it is mainly used to create models layer by layer. So in my project I created dense model, LSTM model, and dropout model layer by layer. So for creating the models layer by layer we use this sequential. So don't be confused, I will explain the code, then you can easily understand those layers, how I created, etc. Then I have used dense library also. This dense library, it is not like library, it is like layer. So dense layer is the regularly used in deep learning concepts, or you can use in machine learning concepts also. It is connected with neural network layers. So in our project we mainly use this neural network layer only. So these are the libraries which I have used in my project for predicting the stock prices. And the procedure of my project is I have imported all the required libraries, all the necessary libraries, and then I load the data using data reader method. I have already discussed the use of data reader method in importation of library session. Then I have prepared data and I'll show briefly the code about how I prepare data, and then I build the model, then I predict the next closing value, because next closing value is nothing but I'm predicting next day stock price. How I am predicting next day stock price? By taking past 60 days data. So I want closing value of the stock market. So I have predicted in that code, and then I load the test data, and then I want accuracy. How much accurately it is working. So I have imported all those things, and I have made the predictions on test data, and then plot these predictions for good visualization, and then I want to predict. I have written the code of the next day also. Actually, I have used in my project LSTM technique. So LSTM is a artificial recurrent neural network. That means it is a RNN architecture. It follows RNN architecture. It is used in the field of deep learning concepts. So I have used that technique in my project. So LSTM has some feedback connections. It is not only it works not only for single data points, but it works for entire sequence of data. So that's the main use of LSTM. So these LSTM neural networks are well suited for prediction. So as it is well suited for prediction, I am using in my project. So actually it uses a, my project uses a network. I mean LSTM uses a network to understand and translate data input of one form into a desired output. So actually if we do input, it should translate to another form, right? So that translation is done by LSTM neural network. So I have used this neural network. In the name suggests, we can understand that these are modeled on neurons in the brain, like for example neural networks. So it has some neurons in the brain like that. So they use artificial intelligence technique, and then break down extremely complex relationship problems, and all those problems are moduled, and all those complexities are removed, and all the data is again resetted. So we use these neural network concepts. So apart from removing all the complexity of the data, so by this project we can learn different algorithms, we can learn different neural network techniques. So these are all very useful. So even we can actually there are three types of neural networks: artificial neural network, recurrent neural network, and conventional neural network. Actually in my project I used RNN architecture, that is recurrent neural network. So actually this RNN architecture uses memory to process sequence of inputs. So actually this LSTM technique which I have used in this stock prediction is an example of it is one of the concept in RNN neural network architecture only. So that was about my my project. Actually in the screen you can observe one graph. So that graph, that some blue line indicates that actual price of the stock market, and that red or orange line indicates the prediction price of the stock market. Actually in the output also I will show that was my output, and in the right side the image is not that much clear, but I will show, I will explain the concept. And first I have collected data from Yahoo Finance data. So it has a in that Yahoo Finance data you will get all data related to stock prices, stock market. You can get data from previous years, previous months, etc. Then from that data which I collected from Yahoo Finance data, I converted into, I split the data, I did normalization, and I split the data into different layers using RNN neural architecture. Then I build the model. I did validation, I did testing, and again I plotted the graph. Then after all those procedure, I predicted the graph. So don't be confused if you don't know this neural network technique. You might be confusing, but no worries. Just I am saying that how I did my project. I am not explaining deeply about how I mean each and every procedure. So just I am saying how I made the project, what are the things I did, and what techniques I used, what are there in machine learning techniques. So let me show the output. let me show you the output. So actually this is my code. I think it is font size is small. Okay, here this part I have imported all the libraries which are needed in my project. So here to here I have imported libraries, then I have loaded the data. So from here to here I have loaded the data. So I want prediction of Facebook company stock price. So I have given here FB because I want Facebook stock price. So I have given FB. Then all this is we have selected a company name Facebook, right, for which we want to predict stock price. And then after selecting that I have entered start date and end date, so which are useful to analyze the past data. Then I loaded the data using data reader. So actually I have already said this, and I choose the data from Yahoo Finance API. So I have given here Yahoo. So then I have prepared the data. How I prepared the data means using last 60 days. So here we use min max scaler. It is a pre-processing module. We will scale down all the values we have so that they will fit between 0 and 1. For example, we might have different prices, right? So if they have lowest price like 10,000 and highest price as 620k, and we will compress all values so that they will fit between 0 and 1. So for that I use it. Here I gave prediction days 60 days. Prediction days is equal to 60 days, 60 because I want to predict future stock price using past 60 days. Then I have keep here to empty list to fit the training data here. So I want to train the data, right? So I want to fit the data in somewhere else. So I have used here list. Then we are going to start with prediction days 60 and we go up to length of scale data. So we are going to start counting from the 60th index and we will go until last index, right? So for that I used for loop, and I have added some methods there, and to train the data I have added a value for x train and I have added a value y train, and I have converted all these them into numpys. And then to build the model, so I have built the model using this code. So what this code is, I am adding. So here sequential is a basic neural network. I have added sequential method. Then we will add LSTM layer, then dropout layer, then LSTM layer, then dropout layer. These all are the layers, don't confuse. Then we will add dense layer. So these are the layers I have added on which are used for my model. Then I have added a code to fit my model. So and here only we can do loss, profit, how much loss we have, how much profit you have, and we will fit the data. We are going to feed up to 25 approach to fit the data, so that's not a problem. So that is the code of that. And I have loaded the data because I want time how much I loaded the data. So this is the code for loading data, and to find the accuracy how much how well this project works. So for that I have written the code here, and to make predictions from past data, past analysis, I have write the code, I have included the code here. And then I plot the text predictions because I want graph, right? So for the graph I used I plotted x-axis, I plotted y-axis, I did code for all those things, x-axis and y-axis, etc. Then to predict the next day I have imported some methods and I have converted the data into array, and I predicted using inverse transform method. So all these things, this is the code. Then if you click the run button, it will train the data. So this all thing is this is all is training the data. So it takes few minutes to train the data, then we will get output. So actually this is the output. See, you can observe here graph. I am predicting Facebook stock price. So this black line is actual Facebook price and predicted price is indicated by green letter. Actually for good visualization I added in the code this graph also, and I have for getting this particular graph I have added x axis, y axis code, etc. And this and then we will get predicted price of the Facebook here. See, you can observe prediction. So tomorrow Facebook price is 309.14304. So this is tomorrow's Facebook price. So we can predict, even we can predict not only Facebook company, whatever company we want, we can predict stock price of that company. So this is the main aim of my project. So I want to conclude that my project. So in my project I used LSTM neural network. So here I used a last 60 days data to predict one day in future. So it's going to predict next day based on last 60 days. I have used different concepts, like standard deviation, machine learning, like layers, neural network layers, etc. to develop this project. Thank you for watching.